Welcome back everybody, it's Mrs. Coxon again and I'm here to take you through today's lesson. So for today's lesson you will need a pencil and a paper, but before we start today's lesson, let's begin with the task I left you with last lesson. You had this fraction story and I asked you to find as many different ways as you could to show that Ikram has more orange than Yonis. I wonder how you got on and if you found all the different ways you could show this. Well, let's see if we can find out. Okay, well here's one method. You could have drawn two circles to represent the orange and shaded in 1 1/4 to show what Yonis had and 3 1/4 on the other one to show what Ikram has. And this will visually prove that 1 1/4 is less than 3 1/4. Now, we can now put in the inequality sign, the symbol between the two fractions, to show that 1/4 is less than 3/4. Now, if you didn't draw a diagram, you might have chosen to use a number line so that you could draw a number line to position 1/4 and 3/4. And we've shown fractions on a number line before, so let's read the fractions on the number line together. We have 0, we have 1/4, we have 2/4, 3/4 and 4/4, which we know is equivalent to 1. So what do you notice about 1/4 and 3/4? Yeah, because 1/4 is closest to 0 and 3/4 is further along the number line. We can also see that the further along the number line we go, the numerator gets larger. And this helps us compare the fractions by looking at the numerator. We know that 3 is larger than 1, therefore 1/4 is less than 3/4. Now, some of you might have used your verbal reasoning to help prove and convince me. So I'm going to use this stem sentence to help me. You might want to join in with me. So 1/4 is 1 lot of 1/4 and 3/4 is 3 lots of 1/4. Now I know that 1 is less than 3, so that 1/4 is less than 3/4. Well done. Did anyone use this model? This is called the quantity model. We have drawn 4 1/4. 3 1/4 have been circled to show what Ikram has, and 1 1/4 has been left to show what Yonis has. 3/4 of an orange is more than 1/4 of an orange, and again we can use our inequality sign to show that 1/4 is less than 3/4. So we've looked at using method 1, method 2, method 3, and we used our quantity model. For the examples that follow, I think we will have a look at using these 3 methods to show our understanding of which fraction is greater and which is less than the other. So we're going to use these 3 methods to be able to compare our fractions and prove and disprove. Okay, let's have a look at another fractions story here. So Polly has done 3/8 of her homework and Ola has done 5/8 of her homework. Who has done more? You need to show that Ola has completed more of her homework than Polly has. Well, let's look at those fractions for a moment, because can you spot something that's the same and something that's different? Yeah, they've both got the same denominator, haven't they? They've just got different numerators. So can you see my diagram there? I wonder if you could copy that down and pause your video so that you can sketch in and colour in on there to show that Ola has completed more of her homework than Polly has. Just pause your video while you do that. Okay, how did you get on? Well, my diagram looks like this. Does yours look like this, or does it look a bit different? It might look a bit different, and that's okay. Some of you might have coloured in different parts, so as long as you've coloured in one bar with 3 coloured in total and the other bar with 5 coloured in total, that doesn't matter which parts you've coloured in. So what do you notice about the numerators? Yes, we've said that you were right. 3 is less than 5, so 3/8 is less than 5/8. Can you put the missing equality symbol between your two fractions to show this? Well done. Now let's show the same pair of fractions on a number line. So I have marked the number line for you. What I want you to do is to pause the video and place the arrows to show the position of the two fractions. Okay, so you might want to sketch the number line in front of you and pause the video while you do that. Okay, have you marked them on there? Let's see how we did. So we've got 3/8 there, we've got 5/8 there. So we can see that 3/1/8 and 5/1/8. Now we need to put in the missing inequality symbol to show this. So which one do we need to put in there? 3/8 is less than 5/8. Fantastic. So what part of the fraction tells you this? Yes, that's correct. It's the numerator. So because I know that 3 is less than 5, so 3/8 is less than 5/8. And finally, we've got our method 3, our verbal reasoning method. So here we have our statement. Polly has done 3/8 of her homework and Ola has done 5/8 of her homework. I wonder if you can pause the video now to see if you can fill in the missing part of our STEM sentence. So just pause your video while you fill in the missing bits. Okay, how do we get on? Let's have a look. So we can see that 3/8 is 3 lots of 1/8. 5/8 is 5 lots of 1/8. And I know that 3 is less than 5, so 3/8 is less than 5/8. Well done. Okay, we've got one more fraction story here. Maya has read 2/6 of her book and Zach has read 5/6 of his book. What's the same and what's different about those two fractions? That's right, the denominators are the same. They are both 6. We've just got different numerators. Okay. So pause the video now while you can use a diagram to show that Zach has read more of his book than Maya. You might want to think about a verbal reasoning sentence. You might want to use a number line. See if you can do all of those. Okay, here's my diagram. I've used a bar, a rectangle for mine, because I find it easier to divide them into equal parts. Now you might have drawn 2 circles or 2 rectangles to represent the fractions, and that doesn't matter, but have you shaded in 2/1/6 on one of them and 5/1/6 on the other? So this visually proves that 2/6 is less than 5/6, and we can now put the inequality sign in to show that 2 is less than 5, so we also know that 2/6 is less than 5/6. Now let's look at the same pair of fractions on a number line. I've marked the number line here for you. See if you can pause your video now, if you haven't done this already, to place the arrows to show the position of the two fractions. Did you get them in the right place? Right, let's see what we've got. So that's correct. We've got 2/1/8 here and we've got 5/1/8. So what do you notice about the numerator as you go further along the number line? That's right, as the numerator gets bigger, the fractions get closer to 1. And finally, our method 3. So if you haven't done this, you can pause the video now to see if you can fill in the blanks for our STEM sentence. So does your completed STEM sentence look like this? Well done. So we'll read the stem sentence through together. So 2/6 is 2 lots of 1/6. 5/6 is 5 lots of 1/6. I know that 2 is less than 5, so 2/6 is less than 5/6. Well done. Well, it's time for us to finish now. So well done today. You've done fantastically well, worked really hard. And I'd like to leave you with just one last task for you to complete before the next lesson. So I want you to consider the methods that we've used today to allow us to compare fractions, and it really helped us with our understanding of deciding which fraction is larger and which is smaller. So each question, you've got four questions here. On the first question, we have a diagram and you need to fill in the fractions and put the inequality symbol within the circle. On question 2 is a number line. We have 2/8 is less than 7/8. You need to plot those fractions onto the number line to show that. We've got verbal reasoning with question 3. Again, fill in the missing parts of the stem sentences and put the missing symbol in between those two fractions. And lastly, use your verbal reasoning to think about the stem sentences and complete the fractions and the inequality symbol. So well done with all of that today. It's been lovely to spend some time with you, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Take care.